This is So Long Too Long, a true-to-life recounting of a band that, despite their very best efforts, seemed destined to break into the big time if they could only overcome one hurdle, themselves. If they weren't quite four lads who shook the world, they certainly gave their postcodes a tremble. In our last episode, we detailed how, with one gig off it, we got down to writing songs. We just chronicled our first 3 songs in the set, so here's the rest. Song 4, Lightning Struck Twice. Or, as it's written on the beer mat for reasons outlined earlier, Licking Wood, which saw me drop the letter G from the end of licking, for no reason other than it appeared to be what you did. No G's for us, la. We're too working class, too bohemian, too counterculture. Nowadays, such grammatical nonsense drives me up the wall, but back then, we would have done anything to appear remotely cool. As I've said, this was our first finished masterpiece, but it just went on and on. The two harmonica interludes allowed me to pose like I was Bob Dylan though, and before the song, I would drag out the process of putting on my brace holder, ensuring that everyone could see I was earnest in carrying the torch of folk traditions of yore by playing the instrument of the hobo, the minstrel, and the lonesome convict in his lonesome jail cell. I couldn't actually play the harmonica for toffee though, spluttering and inhaling in the vain hope that my guitar was in tune with it, which in those days, due to us never bothering with proper guitar tuners, was often a rarity. But in my inflated world, practicing harmonica was inauthentic, and it was much better to feel it, man. Spoiler alert, it wasn't. This song got dropped from the set fairly quickly for a variety of reasons, which, looking back, strikes me, no pun intended, as a bit of a shame. There are a few songs from these days that make me wonder how I'd feel if I wrote them now. Would I dismiss them as throwaway, or actually be happy with them and think that there's something worth pursuing here? Sometimes, in my more sentimental moments, with Lightning Struck Twice, I'll lean towards the latter. Lightning Struck Twice. Well, we spoke about this, haven't we, previously? But this was our watershed moment, wasn't it?
Mm.
Or Licking Wood.
There was a barcode in it.
There was a barcode,
so
yeah.
Happy to show off.
I don't have any memory of playing the drums for this at all. I'm trying to think.
Matt told you to stop.
Was there no drums in it?
There were drums, yeah. There were drums. I'm guessing there was just no hi-hat.
I know what you mean. See, like when you play it back in your head, I can't hear them. I can hear the fucking harmonica.
Oh god, yeah, no, that harmonica definitely makes that speaker next to my head. Like when my head used to shake. Sometimes I still hear it when I'm lying in bed at night.
The thing is with the harmonica, it's one of those instruments that, when played well, you can do it, but everyone thinks you can just pick up a harmonica and you'll put your lips together and blow, and you don't realise until you've been playing it for a while, actually there's a knack to it, rather than just going breathe in, breathe out. And it's, you wouldn't sit down at a piano and just go, I'll like this on the night, or you wouldn't pick up a violin and go,
but that's exactly what we would do.
Well, I mean, it was, yeah, and that's what I did with the harmonica. I was like, I don't need to learn how to play it. It's a C harmonica, the song's in C. You wouldn't find Dylan practicing. You probably would.
I just think, like, in this, like, old boys club and, like, all the kids getting, like, their underage pints in, and then you just whipping out, like, that harmonica, but everyone would have just been like, what the hell's happening?
I remember Steve saying, you when we were putting this together, you were saying, I'm sure you had a harmonica on more songs than this, and it was only this, but I reckon I just wore the brace all the time because I wanted people to know, yeah, man.
Hey, like at that time, I think you used to come to the pub and would have a pint and you'd be sitting with it on. Like, I just remember it constantly being around you, like just on you. Harmonica or not.
I probably
did. Most people going, what the fuck's that? You wouldn't even know what it is without a harmonica in it.
I just wanted people to know that, yeah, I'm serious, man. I can't even take a step towards the pub without playing my harmonica, man. I'm a hobo, I'm a minstrel.
But like your walk down Derby Lane isn't exactly fucking Greenwich Village.
no. Oh God! I actually remember walking down there. I think it was either with you, Steve, or Bob, and someone just threw a milkshake at me from out of. I'm fair enough. I'm looking back now. Absolutely fair enough.
Milkshake thrown at you. Yeah, we definitely deserved it. Followed by Goth or something like that.
Yeah, probably, yeah. But Goth or a Rasta, I'm not quite sure what your eye had, but it was a milkshake on your head. Oh, God, yeah.
What a waste.
But the song, again, far too long. Well established that I couldn't cut down my songs, but it was more matured, wasn't it, than certainly than fucking Facing the Crowd, but it was certainly it felt like a proper song, didn't it?
Yeah, because it was like a little build-up, weren't it? Like before the... Was it a chorus, or you said Lightning Struck Twice, didn't you?
Yeah.
It was, but like there was a nice little build-up.
Big build-up,
yeah.
bit like a Rolling Stone type of there. It even had the breakdown. Yeah, I think we all had the breakdown with my harmonica, but the song had the breakdown where the drums dropped out, and we probably thought, what other bands has a dropout, man? Fucking no drums here.
So you're just having a pause on the 8-minute song.
Song 5, So Long Too Long. Ah, the classic. The song I serenaded Rowie with to convince him to stick around and bring his guitar. In our early days, this is what we perceived to be our signature song, largely attributable to being the one that made people like our parents go, "Oh, it's not dreadful that," and think that there just might be a slither of something in this band lark for us. So Long Too Long was a very catchy song, but is another example of me not knowing when to wrap things up. It should have been a 2.5 minute smash and grab job, but I hadn't mastered the art of self-editing yet and wouldn't for many a year. So there are about too many verses too many and a needless extended outro, but at the core of things was a very commendable effort at a pop song. So Long Too Long opened with a bass riff, which was a bold move for a band that didn't have a sodding bass player. So I'd try and double up my rhythm playing with a bass pattern that inevitably sounded crap. But there weren't too many lyrics, which meant the song was sing-alongable, and I do think the melody hid a multitude of sins. All self-depreciation aside, writing and finishing this song was a watershed moment for us, and we were wholly, unshakably convinced that it would be revered in years to come as a perfect slice of Liverpudlian pop, alongside There She Goes and Female of the Species. And there's still time yet. So Long Too Long, right, this was it. So Long Too Long was It was going to be our number one, wasn't
it? It was the song that had, It wasn't a long song. It had structure, didn't it? We did open up with a bass line, which without a bassist was brave, definitely. The drum beat is just me trying to rip off Thomas Melody. I thought I'm going to enjoy this. I can go hi-hat and snare in this one.
Yeah. And it even had a mid-late. No words to it, which that was beyond me. I could write a mid-late, but no, don't expect any words. It had a middle-eight instrumental bit.
Well, like I say, all this is like new to me. So like, middle-eight, and it was a nice little pop song. Like, going from like your rootsy stuff to this. I think it was kept rootsy, really.
Oh yeah.
But it's a gem. It's a diamond. Like amongst everything, it is a great song, and there was kind of like a rush to get rid of it, wasn't there? Like, add a set list or...
Yeah, I was... Because I said, we found this song, So Long Too Long, and I sent it to somebody this week, and they were like, that was incredible, it's like a 60s lost classic, He said, was this the song that got you on Radio 1? I was like, no, we dropped it. He said, you dropped it? I was like, yeah, we didn't want it to be our albatross round on. It's like, Jesus Christ, lads, you write one good song out of a set. You've got one song that's going to be like, it's going to catch your attention. And what you do, we go, I don't want to get too attached to it. We don't want people to know us just for that one song. We'll fucking drop it. Absolutely mad.
But if that person heard the third guitar solo and Facing the Crowd, I think that, so...
Mustn't care about roots,
that's it. We were that rootsy, we didn't even want fucking the song to do well. Opening with a bass line, didn't have a bassist. I think that kind of sums us up in the early years. That
it's just the lack of acknowledgement towards it, like for a long time.
Yeah,
Yeah, and not questioned.
No. And no effort went into finding a bass player either.
No, just get the gigs.
Yeah.
It was only till we got a bass player and we played it for the first time. It was like, this is what it's meant to sound like.
Ah.
Yeah, but nobody went. You're opening with a bass line, but you haven't got a bit. No, okay, no, we just didn't question it, did we? But there you go.
This is another song with one of your titles, Steve, isn't it?
So Long Too Long had the alternate title, the Frank Button devised Cream Pie.
Yeah, I remember the
Not a good name for a podcast.
yeah.
No.
I do remember the beer mat because I've still got the set list on it, and it has got Frank Button and a huge knob drawn on it as well.
Of course,
Just, you know, yeah. But
Mine just says wood on it, wood then cream pie.
Oh, so hang on, Robbie's got.
I've got
a picture of your set list.
Yeah, so my set list I've got in front of me.
Wow.
It was scribed by Albany associate Cody. Yeah, so what is it? I've got licking wood and cream pie, but licking wood's just wood. So because you just know what song that wood. Yeah,
I think mine's got So Long Too Long on it. So I'm putting Cody down for that one.
What was the system with the naming of the song, Steve? What was the system?
Well, it was just an easy way for me to remember. the filthier, the better. Because then you turn around and say, play DT Frenzy, I go, yeah, straight in there. Or
see, that's a problem, like DT Frenzy, because like I was speaking to Matty before about it, and like I don't even think like there's any porn videos with the title Frenzy, because I think it's too much. Like they've just settled on like gangbang.
Well, I think if you say that and it gets a reaction, then that's the name of the song, isn't it? I'm going to say it was like oh no, I haven't really got any sort of artistic expression for it. It was just me being filthy.
Yeah, essentially that's it. Yeah. Wow.
Cream pie, man.
Song 6, Crawl On Home. The first song I ever played live, at an open mic, underage and wearing my mate's dad's shoes and clothes, which were all far too big for me, but that's another story for another time. Essentially a pub rock bag of shite, Crawl On Home was a lumpen blob of cod Britpop tripe with meaningless lyrics that was yet again 2 minutes too long. Although, and fair play to him, Steve tried to save the song by utilising a jazz-informed drum beat. Essentially, in writing this, I ripped off an Oasis B-side that is about incest, so that should give you an insight into how bad it was. Yeah, this one has not aged well, this, like, Facing the Crowd, but I remember writing this when I was in sixth form. I remember playing it to me mates. We all had fake IDs and we were in what was then called Hannah's Bar. And I got on the open mic and I played this, and it was like, oh, can how Matty's written a song and it's great, yeah, it's great. And so for a while, before I was like in the band, this was like my song. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. If there was a guitar, it'd be like, yeah, go on, Matty, play that Crawl On Home song, yeah. And I thought I was the bee's knees with this one, absolute bee's knees. Listen back to it, you're like, it's fucking shite.
When I listen back to it, I don't mind it. Like I think it sounds like. It sounds terrible, like describing it, but like swinging and like a bit ballsy, and to come out, that's coming from like a young you, like a kid, innit? Like, I think I enjoy listening to it. I enjoy listening to it. Personal opinion.
I think it's the lyrics more than anything, like just because they're meaningless. But I did that like Noel Gallagher thing where I'll have meaningless things, but present them in a way that they're really profound, or they're really. Well,
that's what it is. That's what it must be then. Because when I listen to music, or when I've got a song and I don't really hear the lyrics to like the third, fourth listen, so I like the music. I really enjoy the music. I'll listen back again.
No, don't. But again, it had. I can't believe I'm saying this for like the third time. It had another two solos, which are exactly the same. I think it pushes 5 minutes. This song, you're like, this should not be longer than like 3.5, and it's pushing 5.5. But
I remember it being long, but this was always my safe song in the set as well, because it was the same drums. Even though I actually quite like the drums in the song, it was the same drum beat all the way through, and it just like built up. And
You
I
had
did
your
a little
little
and it's the same.
Charlie Watts fucking thing, didn't you?
Yeah. But I
Yeah.
could also do that one-handed while I was having a bevy.
My favourite song, Neil.
God, yeah. Although it is the song that, if you're listening to this podcast, the outro, like the very end where you can hear a guitar line and all crunching feedback and Sting saying how much he likes playing in the dark, man. That is a snippet from Crawling Home.
It is.
Yeah.
There you go.
Didn't say he liked the song, did he?
I like not being able to see us.
Yeah.
You can't see me mouthing at you. No hi-hats.
Put a tom in it. During the second guitar solo. Stop using that double bass drum.
Song 7, outro. One of the best gigs I've ever been to, and maybe the most formative with regards to my perception of music, was British Sea Power in the Stanley Theatre in 2003. Nothing was ever the same after that. Now, I could write a whole essay on that one concert alone, but for the sake of this, one of the things that frazzled my mind most was that after they had played their final song, the epic 13-minute plus Lately, they ripped into an unformed, anarchic improvisation, colloquially referred to amongst the faithful as Rock in A, that saw various members of the band performing all sorts of on-stage gymnastics, crowd surfing and climbing the rafters, whilst the white-hot rock and roll continued until it eventually fell apart under its own weight. God, I want to do something like that. Wow, I want to do something like that, I thought. And so deftly ripped off the idea by writing a loose sketch for the song, in A, naturally, and refusing to plan an ending. We'll just wing it on the night. Now, of course, Steve's Attic was a very different venue to the Stanley Theatre. And rather than being a fully formed signed rock band who'd had years of practice under their belt, we were three bellends in Steve's bedroom guzzling Viborg pills. This all meant, therefore, that the brand of chaos with which we chose to end this epic rather meekly consisted of me holding my shitty replica vintage guitar against a tiny 15-watt amp until a squeal of feedback limped out of it, while Steve twatted his cymbals and Rowie lunged back and forward, all the while hunched over so he didn't bang his head on the low ceilings. In our minds, however, we were the Who, smashing up our instruments and giving the squares of the world an aural 2 fingers up. In reality, we were just creating a right royal din for Steve's parents downstairs, who actually never once complained, which shows both how amazing they were and how toothless and tame we really were. So the last song was Outro. Outro does what it says on the tin. What's this on your set list as, Roll?
So, like you mentioned the Sea Power, that Rock and A, man just says Mad One with 2 exclamation points.
Yeah, that was it. Just a complete wig out, wasn't it? And in Prachi, this had lasted about 20 minutes, wouldn't it? You know, just the same fucking color. There was one change in it that lasted about 2 minutes. Sorry, not even that, less 30 seconds, and then the rest of it was just stay on A. Oh, God almighty.
There was a theme, though, wasn't it, for us, throughout, that for a couple of years where we had a song at the end that always kind of descended into that.
Yeah.
I think it was that more just to let everyone in the car is fucking rammed. Like, we're finished now. we've finished our set because we've all got our guitars off, trying to get feedback. But with the Mad One with outro, that's something else. That's just noise. It is just noise. like Matthew was saying about your mum and dad. Why didn't they just come up the ladder and just say, "Stop, lads, it's been 20 minutes. Just stop. I mean, he's got better things to do."
Oh man, it had a good melody. The vocal bit, the tiny bit that did have vocals. But then I was listening. I was thinking about not listening in my head, but I was thinking about that song and I'm going, that melody, and then I just realised I completely lifted the vocal melody from a space song. I mean, not even just about the actual melody. And all these years, nearly 20 years, I've never made that connection. I was like, oh fucking hell, that's Disco Dolly by Space, the exact. So just.
I don't remember the tune at all. I just remember it being noisy and not having a clue what was going on, so I just kept eating the same thing. And it's probably a tom.
Yeah.
All the way through.
But
Yeah, we try and like get all feedback, but it's hard to get feedback from a crappy replica guitar and a tiny, tiny amp.
Well, I don't think anyone's got successful guitar feedback when you're having to like bend down. You're not like Townsend in front of like a stack of Marshalls, are you?
No.
You're having to get on your knees.
No. But we knew that, but we were okay with that because we were like, well, that's all right because before long there will be a stack of Marshalls behind us. You know, as long as we can keep practicing, at one point we will be able to do this. Never going, actually, why don't we just save up and get proper amps? It's like, no, at some point there will be an amp there and, you know, we'll be rock gods by then and, you know, Robbie's going to set fire to his guitar and Steve's going to put fireworks in the bass drum. Yeah. And actually it's just this really limp.
Well, even if we just had a bass player, like a bass line going all the way through, you know, and then you two could have like done whatever, but at least there would have been something underneath it all carrying it through. But
Good point, that's Steve.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
It was just noise. It was just noise.
Yeah.
It starts off as a song, but then the feedback, it was like 30 seconds would have been enough of it.
Yeah.
Really, wasn't it?
Yeah. It ended up being pretty like metal machine music, didn't it? The vocal melody had the. I thought, yeah, we're onto something there. But then, again, if we just sat down, we probably could have crafted a quite a good song out of it. That maybe had a bit of a noisy section, but we didn't. We just went, right, okay, so after the first verse, there's no chorus because, of course, there's no chorus for this one. After the first verse, yeah, just go mad. We're not
you know what it was missing? Harmonica. That's what it was missing.
Feedback.
Yeah. But it served its purpose, and you know, I'd love to know what people thought of it the first time we played it in the old boys pub. And I was trying to, you know, summon up the devil through feedback, but when actually I'm just.
They're probably thinking, where the fuck's the Jimmy Savile experience when you need it?
Was there a buffet that night?
Don't remember much of the gig.
I'm sure there was a buffet, you know. I'm sure we ruined the buffet for everyone. Because I remember at the end of the outro, like after the gig, I think it was me and Cody, we had bin bags and we were just filling like the bin bags are used for me drums
On
to
the
carry like
again.
chicken wings and that.
Jesus, I think you're right. You know, I hadn't thought about that for years, but I think, the glamour here.
Yeah.
Was a buffet. I can't remember the occasion. There was a buffet.
Albany's first gig. Put a spread on.
So, armed with a collection of 7 surefire classics, we set off for our first ever gig as a trio. Frustratingly, our memories of the actual gig itself are few and far between. Not because it was a drunken haze and we all blacked out, but rather, I think it must have been somewhat unspectacular, or at the very least not a shambolic disaster that gives me cold sweats in the middle of the night just thinking about, although there's plenty more of that to come, believe me. I asked Rowie and Steve about their memories of the gig, and theirs were nearly as vague as mine, though Steve did recall 2 factors that were emblematic of what was to come. The first was that Steve brought all his gear in bin bags, which anyone who has tried to manoeuvre any part of a drum kit to any degree will know is absolutely ludicrous. And the second is that I tuned my guitar with a spanner. Now, I'll hold my hands up and admit I'm a careless sod. It's a bugbear of mine and is a frustration often shared by those nearest to me, but I break things and I lose things, unintentionally, but of a regularity that sees me spending a lot of time either trying to solve these problems or ignore them. So although I can't remember the exact incident in which it happened, at some point in Bucko's bar, I'd banged, dropped or sat on my guitar and one of the tuning heads snapped off, which meant I couldn't turn the knob and tune the string in question. Now for a band that didn't use guitar tuners, this was a pretty fundamental problem. But rather than taking my guitar to get fixed, which would have involved spending effort that could have been directed towards the band and the pub, I searched for any apparatus that could do the job and settled on a spanner. Quite how this must have appeared to the presumably small crowd at the gig, Steve unloading from bin bags, me tuning my guitar with a spanner, and Rowie, no doubt, looking effortlessly cool, chain-smoking, this was pre-smoking ban, is anyone's guess. Compared to our counterparts, the Alphites, in their matching attire, proper equipment, and knowledge of their instruments, we must have looked as far away from not even professional, but simply competent as it is possible to be. We didn't care, and probably took some degree of delight in our shambles. But whilst memories of the gig itself have been swept away by the ebbing and flowing waves of time, I can recall the post-match analysis in the Albany afterwards, and we were all in agreement that we were essentially the last gang in town, the city's new hope, and the best band in the world, binbags and all. Do you remember much about the gigs? I'd say not in a fashionable, so out of it. I generally can't remember playing.
No, like I remember turning up and like the gig would have been a blur, but not like in a euphoric sense. Like, oh, what a rush! Like I don't know what happened there. That last half an hour was just gone.
Yeah,
like, give me a pint of Foster's.
I remember not meeting anyone new after that gig. So like normally you finish like being in a band, you think, oh yeah, everyone's gonna come over and say, oh, that was really good or whatever. No one will come and talk to me after it. So maybe that's why me and Cody robbed the buffet.
Yeah. I'm linking back to what we were saying earlier about the L fight. Jim was a very good drummer and he was very serious about it. No doubt he turned up with all sorts of casing and carry bags. Like, it's no exaggeration. We literally carried it in bin bags, didn't we? Your drums.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Properly professional all the way.
Did you double bag the cymbals?
Do you know what? The bag would always split, wouldn't it? Because everyone had to, help out. Even Bob helped out, which is unusual for him, wasn't it? Yeah. He'd have to carry something, and the bags would always split. And yeah, especially when you got a bag of cymbals and a bag of chicken wings in your hand. The chicken wings are probably worth more than the cymbals.
Probably made a better noise as well.
Yeah.
Can't believe you haven't got chicken drumsticks in this anywhere.
We missed out there.
What a try.
We did. I remember the Albany after it, but I can't. Yeah, we were just. I don't think we were on a higher switch. We were just very much like, that's it. First gig done now, right? This is it.
Yeah, it would have just, for us, it would have just been like a relief. Like, that's done. Like, what's next?
Yeah. So, right, gig, tick.
Yeah.
Logo, tick.
Wasn't climbing Everest. It was like, that's to come, innit? But, yeah. We're going.
Town.
Yeah.
Town. That was it.
That was it. There was no looking back from there on, was there?
No. Never look back. Go forward. Always one.
Football flag and all.
Just don't strip up on it.
Tony's football camp's still going, by the way, if anyone wants to give him a ring after this. I'm sure he's got a Facebook page now. It's all modern. You won't make that mistake again with the flag.
We need to digitalise this.
So Long Too Long is a podcast written by me, Matty Laughlin-Day, also starring Liam Rowlands and Steve Buckney. For more information, search So Long Too Long podcast on all socials or email us at solongtoolongpod@gmail.com. So Long Too Long is part of the Club Shipwreck network. For more information, go to www.patreon.com/clubshipwrecked. Thanks to John Gibbons and the Anfield Rap for loan of the studio.
I like playing in the dark, man.